Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 40, would you believe? We celebrate this milestone of 40 episodes of the African Do podcast, where we tell stories of excellent Africans executing excellently in Africa. So today we're privileged to have Juliet Wambua of Blue Osprey Limited, but you probably know her products better by their trading name, which is Msafi Net. If you have ever bought onions or tomatoes from a supermarket, they are that stretchy nets that you get and you pack things in. That's Msafi Net, and Juliet Wambua is behind that. So Juliet, welcome to the African Do podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here.
So Juliet, let me start a bit differently and take you on and say that I found out that you were once a banker, yeah? And not only a banker, but you are a banker with IFC, yeah? One would argue that that's the epitome of banking. You're playing with the big boys, you're playing in the big leagues, and yet you leave all that behind and come into the world of entrepreneurship. So maybe start, before you even get to IFC, take us back. Where do you come from? What did you study? And how did you end up in your entrepreneurial space?
Great.
Yeah.
So as I said, my name is Juliet. Most of the people out here call me Ndanu, but you can call me Juliet.
Yes.
I am a finance professional. My background is in accounting. I am a certified public accountant, and I'm also a BCom finalist at a degree level. I'm also, I have done work in the capital market sector. That's where I started my career off immediately after school. And in 2015, I became a consultant for the World Bank Group.
Okay.
I started off supporting projects in banking on women, in SME banking. And then I think in 2019, I became an analyst, a financial analyst. So I have, I would say I have about 9 years of experience working with banks in Africa.
Yes.
Supporting financial institutions in terms of developing products for women, for SMEs, for risk management, for the different instruments, I would say that banks deal with when it comes to supporting their clientele.
Yes.
Just to, just give you a brief transition and how it happened.
Yes.
So I had worked in this institution for 9 years, which is IFC, the International Finance Corporation, and it's the private sector arm of the World Bank Group.
Yes.
And by the time I was in year 8, I don't know if it is something that happens to everyone, but for me, I started asking myself the questions of how long am I going to be here? How long am I going to be an analyst? How long am I going to move in this institution? Like, what is the timelines that are set in place for me to work in the departments that I'm in? So the questions started hitting loud on a daily basis.
And hitting from a dissatisfaction perspective, or how?
It was more of I need a bigger challenge.
Okay.
Not a dissatisfaction per se, but it was more from, I need a bigger challenge. I've done this for 9 years, and I feel I have grown into the skill, and now I need a bigger challenge. So come year 9, I asked myself the difficult question, am I in the right place? Is my challenge going to come from this institution, or where is it going to come from? And I prayed about it. I'm a believer. I prayed about it, and in seeking of understanding where I'm going to go, I remember the Lord speaking to me clearly and telling me, if you trust me, you will have to leave this job. It was not easy. It was not an easy decision to make, but it had to be made. And
so you're a cold turkey. You just work at the papers and there's nowhere, you can't see where you're going.
I didn't even
You didn't
know
have something, you hadn't curated something.
I had nothing on my hands. I didn't even know I was going to go into manufacturing.
Okay.
At all.
So you just write your resignation and walk out? I
rendered my resignation without even knowing where the next step was. And the challenge that I received from God was, I know where I'm taking you, but I will not give it unto you now. And I think as I look back now, it was because where I was going to, if he had told me where I was, I would have said no, I'm not ready for that.
How is that received on like a family front? You know, we are creatures of the society. Now, you're probably being celebrated there in Ukambani. You know, you're at IFC, you know, your uncles and aunts speak loudly, that daughter of ours in IFC. And then here you go.
Exactly.
Resigning bila forward plan,
bila sensitizing them.
How was that handled on the family
front? My parents, I want to speak about my mom. Every time she would introduce me to her friends and family, she would always be so proud to highlight she works at the World Bank. In fact, she used to say the World Bank, and I would be quick to look at her with a corrective site, it's not the World Bank, I work for IFC. But she would want to say, in fact, she used to say IMF.
Yes.
Initially, she used to say IMF. And I was like, no, IMF is a totally different institution. And then she moved to the World Bank. And then now to come to this decision where I have to resign. It was a very sensitive period. And my parents, my dad and my mom, had to sit me down. In fact, they were so generous that when I said that I'm quitting, they took me out for lunch at Eka Hotel at the spas.
Yes.
To buy me steak because they knew over food I can say anything.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting on the table with them, tumekula, we're full, we are done. And now they ask me now, Ndanu, Ebu, tell us what has happened. Like, why that?
There must be some kind of crisis.
Why did you just decide to quit your job like that? Are you depressed? Their concerns were, is there someone who has hurt you at work? Ebu kwanza, give us your boss's number. We want to call your boss and find out, why did you make that decision like that? And I knew if I told them before I made the decision, it would never have happened because of, this is a good career. This is a good paying job. Why would you leave it? It didn't make sense to anyone. But then immediately I got consent from my husband, my immediate family. Then I knew it was time.
Yeah.
And everybody else would have to align to how the journey is falling out. So I held a conversation with them. And while I was talking to them, that was after I have handed over my resignation. While I was talking to my parents is when my mom quickly said something and it struck. That is the thing that I'm going to do. She after I've explained and told them that I'm not leaving because someone has done anything. I have not done anything. I've not disrupted the whole career by getting into any messy deals or anything like that. But it's just a decision for a new season that is coming in. I don't know what it is, but I know I'm walking into it. So my mom said, she moves on quickly into ideas and things. And she quickly grasped that my daughter is about to be available for something that I have been chasing for in my dreams. And she would be the perfect candidate to bring it to fruition. So she quickly says, by the way, Ndanu, you can get into manufacturing and you can do the nets business. And I remembered my mom is a manufacturer as well.
Okay.
She does packaging bags. So when she said it, I remembered conversations we'd held before because every time we'd meet with her, she'd be like, Aki, I want to do this business so bad, but I can't because I don't have the capacity in terms of time.
Yeah.
So she told me, because you are my daughter, I know you can do it. And I knew that moment that this is what I was going to walk into. So that's how my parents were like, now we're starting a new thing and let's do it.
So how does that look like?
So I walk into this new space that is a go down that is empty. And this is a whole new story where my mom's go down is here and mine is the next one adjacent to it. The coincidence of that happening is 1 in a million. But then the tenant comes over to my mom and says, I'm tired of this space. I want to get into another business. So I want you to take over this go down before the landlord gives it to somebody else. And apparently the same time, my mom is having a conversation with me regarding the Nets business. So I resigned my job in October 31st. And my dad, who is the chairman of our family group businesses, he tells me your reporting date of your new job is November 1. So I didn't even have time to is it mourn or is it to cry over the last job I have had for 9 years. So he tells me on November 1, you're inside your office. So I go into this space. There's nothing in the go down except the previous tenants' items, which were like huko kando. And I am sitting in a go down that has nothing except one chair. And I don't know how or where the things are going to come from, but I know that they're going to be there. So that was in October. So my parents...
What year is this, by the way?
This is in 2023.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my parents, because we've identified the business, we start having conversations with the suppliers of the machines, and we start discussing about how we're going now to import the machines. So my parents supported me into purchasing some of the machines. I used my pension funds to support, to buy the machines.
The pension from now your IFC job.
Yes. And then now the business came to play. What I need to highlight is I'm not doing this on my own.
Yes.
My husband is also a part of this story.
Okay.
So his background is in venture capital, and he has worked with an institution that was supporting SMEs in Rift Valley in terms of accessing funding or for their capital needs. So my husband is at work, and then one day he comes to this new office, the go down, and he looks at it and he looks at me and he's like, you can't do this on your own. I have to be here with you. So he also made a decision to leave his job.
Okay.
And he officially came in a little bit later than I.
Yes.
But then we both came into it, and we bought the machines from China, came in, hired staff, brought in expertise to set up the machine, the engineers that are required, worked with the regulators and all those things. And now we have 4 machines that do the manufacturing of the packaging nets.
So let's speak a bit about this product. Yeah, this net product. So what's its base? What's the base? What raw materials are you using to input and then create that?
So we have 2 most important plastic type of materials. I don't want to get into the scientific knowledge of it, but it's a polyethylene material. It's pellets. They are like small pellets. And I pray that as part of these conversations, if you can come to the site and see the specific material.
I'd love to,
But we have a high density one and a low density one. There's a ratio of mixing the 2.
Okay.
And then if you know the nets, they come in different colors. So we have red, we have yellow, we have green, purple, black, different. So there's another component of including the color that is usually added, which is the master batch, right? So that's what we use to mix in. And then it goes into this machine that it's heating at about 260 degrees Celsius. And it mixes the plastic together with the master batch. And then there's a die where the holes are put into the mixing. And then it comes out like a net. I can't explain it unless I show
Makes
it
sense.
by...
That works for us, I guess. We
Yeah.
have an understanding.
Yeah.
So would we say that you benefited, from your mom's entrepreneurial experience? Because one, in identifying the need, the opportunity, let me call it that, not the need, in identifying that this thing is an opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you didn't have a long period of ideation, what business am I going into? Because you became a beneficiary. Is there truth to that?
Yes, there is a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
And the transition was easier because my parents have been there, done that. Only that their focus is on a different type of product, right? But I leveraged on their level of experience in the manufacturing sector, and it really helped me to have a covering, because most of these businesses, because of the process of ideation from concept up to implementation, it takes even years for some people. Like you have to sit, you do research, but my parents, having been in the market for some few years, they knew the customers would come to them and say, you know what, why don't you do this for us? Why don't you make this for us? And they would say, I'm working on it. I'm looking for the capital. I'm trying to figure out how it's going to be done. So, and that's my parents and my brother too, because my brother is equally, he has contributed a lot in terms of bringing marketing and, distribution channels.
So you're all there?
We're all there.
The whole family is there?
All of us, we are there.
That's fabulous.
We are all of us there. Yeah. So if you come, the office is our home. That's what my dad says. We spend more time here at the office than in the house. So in the house is just a mattress to sleep at.
Yes.
And a TV to watch news. But most of our days are spent in that space.
So you come from with a very keen lens into manufacturing, because you're from the other side. I call it the side that we struggle with.
Yes.
You're from the banking side. And I know many a Kenyan entrepreneur, the frustration we have is that we feel that banking in a Kenyan context has very little understanding of how entrepreneurship businesses in a Kenyan context work, So what has your experience been? Now, as a banker, you've now moved to the other side of the aisle.
Yeah.
And you're a manufacturer.
I think one of my major lessons that I have learned is that there's a big opportunity for banks and the banking sector at large to support businesses in Kenya. The vanilla way of doing it, in terms of giving loans, in terms of giving a basket, as we were discussing, where someone can put in money, that is about to change. And the reason I'm telling you this is because having been there for 2 years now, and I look back to the times when I would help banks to come up with products, financial products for addressing the needs of businesses. The conversation was being held from one side of the table, right? And by one side of the table, I'm saying that there's the financing arm, the donors, the DFIs, the development finance institutions, who are sitting together with the bankers on this side of the table, right? But on the other side of the table is the person who has done the business, right? If you look at most businesses, and I want to, as we discuss this, if at all anyone will leave this place with something, is the focus on family structured kind of businesses. For some families, I would say out of what God has done for them and the blessings that He has brought upon them, there's no need for capital, right? The capital bit has been taken care of. And also, because of the cash flows, the way the business is able to sustain itself, sell and return back the money to buy material and sell and return.
Yes.
That has been taken care of, right? So the bank account is probably being used as a channel to pass the money through.
Yes.
The customer uses the same bank account to pass the money through, and that has been taken care of. The bank is already doing that. They've been doing that for years, right? If there is need for financing, the bank has already done that. But for some institutions, for some clients, I would say for businesses, they've already skipped that hassle. I would say my parents went through the hassle of, getting financing to set up their business and do that conversation they held back then. But there's this next generation, which is being taken care of maybe finance-wise by the parents.
Yes.
You see, so I don't need to walk into a bank to ask for a loan because that aspect of funding has already been taken care of from the family side. You understand? So it begs, or rather, there's a big opportunity for banks to come in and ask themselves, if an SME is able to get a bank account, if an SME is able to get funding, what else can I give these people for me to remain as a relevant stakeholder in the success of that business? And that's where the conversation needs to be held. So these people who are sitting on the other side of the table, they're happy to get banking services. They're happy to get funding if it is needed from the banks. But what more can be done, right?
So do you feel, first of all, a couple of questions. You've raised some very interesting. I think you need to recognize the uniqueness of your family. Yeah. And kudos to your parents in that regard. Because I've talked with many an entrepreneur who suffer the opposite of your challenge, in the sense that where they feel that they would want an opportunity for their parents to give them that capital base and capital foundation to enable them to go and try something different. So the fact that you've got it is huge, even in this context. So my first maybe is a compliment, not a question, that compliments to your parents for enabling that kind of environment and giving you the space to go into this new thing and run with it and see where it takes you. That's great. But do you feel that the banking, that vanilla banking structure you just described, do you feel it's holding us back as a nation, to unlock this potential that we'll speak more about as we get deeper into your business and who you're selling to and where your business is located and so on? Do you think that the lack of that understanding of the businesses by the banks and that table you described with IFC and the local banks or the DFIs and the local banks lacking the input, solid input of the entrepreneurs on the ground, do you think we're losing out?
I think we are. And the reason is a conversation that can never be held will never help to identify where the problems are, right? So while I acknowledge that that there are businesses which are taken care of from the family side, there are still other entrepreneurs that have to go and access the funding from the banks or from the venture capitalists or wherever they can access the funds. That is still an idea that is needed to be pursued. But I understand that when I'm letting you know that there's an opportunity for banks to go beyond that, is because when they do that, when they get to understand how do I support this family that has figured out
this element.
Yes, what more can I bring them to?
What does the beyond look like for you?
Yes.
Maybe we should go there. What does the beyond
The
go?
beyond is going international.
Yes.
You get
regional scaling.
Yes, I want to be able to supply packaging nets even to the US.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to get even to the Chinese market, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the markets that are not easily accessible in terms of any infrastructure that is available, transport-wise or anything.
Yeah.
I want to be able to get to those markets, right? But there's that which my family has done. And probably I'm sitting from a place of comfort because I have four machines, right? But probably where the bank needs to come in and have a conversation is to dig deep and find out, are you sure you're comfortable with this space? Because the way I look at you, I see you can be able to set up several plans in different countries according to how the bank is, or rather how the bank is willing to support you financially, right? I'm looking at it from that angle. While there are some people who are still at that level of ideation and getting financing for concept, their concept notes, there are other people who the concept part, which is where most banks usually find it risky to finance most businesses. You go to a bank with a startup. If I had gone to any bank with that startup, no one would have given me that money because that's a risky venture.
True.
Right? But because I have a family that has tested and tried the grounds, they have been in this business for some time, and the customers whom they serve, they know this product, if you bring it, it will bring value to the market. So what does my family do? They come in where the bank is not able to do that. You see? So when they do that, they have given me a mileage that I wouldn't have been given by a bank.
True.
Right? So that's where it is important for banks to come in and see, how do I stand with these people? Otherwise, the landscape is changing. The financial landscape is changing. Now we have crypto coming in. We have other, legal, I would say, currencies which are coming in now.
Yeah.
And there's
Stable coin. Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot that is going to start, making people want to figure out, how does this bank help me? How does this bank support my business? How does it support me generations to come, right? And that's where the banks now need to start being more courageous on, right? While there's policy, while there's regulation, while there's all of that, there's still an understanding that the world is not stopping.
True.
Things are moving, and
True.
the bank needs to move at a faster pace.
Very true. So let's now come into the product. You invest in the machines. You're next to your mom. You start producing the nets. Yeah. First of all, the name.
Yes.
Where does the name come from? Msafi Net. Yeah.
So this was just a conversation, to be honest. There's no vavavoom to it.
Yes.
We were just seated and how do we call this? And we started saying Safi. So my mom has a product, a packaging bag that is called Safi, that is made out of virgin craft paper.
Okay.
It's called Safi. So we were like, do we call it Msafi Net? No, we were like, no, Safi, you have Safi, your bag. And then my brother says, let's call it Msafi.
Okay.
And Msafi came to be.
Okay. And you produce.
Yes.
But where do you start selling it? And maybe we walk through a bit about how that journey has been of developing the customer.
Yeah.
You all sound like a repeat kind of business.
Yes.
So who's buying the net? How does that landscape look like? How do you distribute and so on?
So I am a new manufacturer.
Yes.
Totally new manufacturer. Like no one has ever heard of Blue Osprey. No one has ever heard of Msafi Net. So my husband and I, of course, with the support of our parents and my brothers, we really had to be very strategic on how we would come into the market.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, we identified top talent. That was important for us. And by top talent, I'm talking about the production team.
Mm-hmm.
We had to ensure that the team which is coming in has experience. They are not starting from scratch, but they have experience with producing the net. Okay. Number two, we also had to look for top talent in marketing, right? I would say we didn't even look for top talent in marketing. The marketing professional themselves, they walked in when they heard that we had set up the business. So they came in and they said, I can add value to your company.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more like a season of favor for us. Even for the production team, we identified like 3-4 people who had experience. And there were people who came and told us, we've heard about this company that is owned by an African, and we want to be part of the story.
Wow.
And the reason is because the net business is predominantly owned by Indians.
Yes.
Right? So we were coming in with many machines. We were coming in with a lot of work, and the production team was sure that there's a form of job security in this place.
Okay.
So the marketing person comes in and says, I want to be part of this story, because the production team, I think, you know how people talk to each other and say, yo, there's this company that's been set up. Are you interested? Ebu, go see them and see whether. So the guy walks in and he says, I want to help you with your marketing. And that's where we were given a complete head start, because it would have been, we would have to go fast and sit with our customers, introduce ourselves, build trust with them that we are able to meet their demand or the requirements that they have. But the marketing officer did that for us.
Okay.
They came, they saw the machines, they are working, they are producing to the capacity that is needed in the market. And they went out there and spoke for us, and they did the job.
Who buys? Who are your buyers?
Who are our buyers? Are wholesalers.
Okay.
We deal mostly with wholesale traders. These are the people who buy most of their stock from manufacturers, and they stock them in a central place where retailers can come in and buy from them.
Okay.
So retailers are people from across the country, different places. And also even outside the country, we have customers going all the way even to DRC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you distribute to some wholesalers who are not Nairobi based?
Yes, we have wholesalers.
And how do you handle that distribution, that logistics side of thing? Have you outsourced it? Do you do it yourselves, or how do you?
We work with the transport sector in this country.
Okay.
There are people who can be trusted,
Yes.
people who are reliable.
Yes.
You don't need even to meet the customer face to face. In fact, I have a customer in Kitale.
Yes.
We are good friends on phone.
You've never met?
I've never met him. Me, I know he stays in Kitale. I've been told he wears the Mokorino thing.
Yeah, he has a turban. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've never met him. He's never met me.
Yeah.
But we have such a good relationship on phone. We talk on a weekly basis.
So walk us through that kind of using maybe that customer you've mentioned as an example.
Yes.
So how does it work? He calls?
So he calls, he says, I want maybe like 10 bills, right? So what happens is I take the 10 bills. I have a delivery person. He takes it to the transporter in town, right? In CBD. So the transporter takes it and then delivers it to him. Amongst many other things, he's delivering to him. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So we have reliable.
And your payment? How is his? How does he pay?
He pays
M-Pesa,
pays to the bank account.
To the bank.
Yeah,
okay, straight to the bank.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And are you this you're doing countrywide?
Yes.
Wow.
I have not one, not two, so many.
Yes.
People who are willing to do this business, and the business is heavily relying on trust.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody who is on that chain must be a trustworthy person. From the manufacturer all the way until the customer receives their goods. Yeah.
Manufacturing in Kenya
Yes.
is something that many people are struggling with and lamenting about. We see if you're not a manufacturer and you read the news or just you depend solely on what is in the public domain, you'll hear a lot of doom and gloom, cost of power, imports, policy, whether it's duties and so on. So maybe talk us through a bit from that angle of the business. How has your experience thus far been as a manufacturer?
I'll start off by this. The Bible says that be as innocent as doves and be as wise as serpents. So I understand that there are pain points in manufacturing, but what carries the day is that there are many people who are in manufacturing. In fact, when I went in, I thought I'm going to be one of the largest in the country, until I started doing sightseeing in other manufacturing plants, and I realized, there are people who are doing big things here, and they are truly achieving a lot in terms of production capacities. And when you look at that, you see, things like electricity costs. You're seeing rental. You're seeing, human resource, the kind of payrolls that they manage, and all of that. And it brings you to a place of doing your mathematics from, like, when you look at your profit and loss statement, right? If you're dealing with an actual profit and loss statement, you'll be able to see that the top line revenue, which is the sales, determines all these other costs which are going to be funded by. For a business to make sense, if you're going to run a profitable business, the sales will be able to address the expenditures that are in the company, right? So if you're going to get into any manufacturing, if you're going to do production of any sorts, you need to sit down and do that modeling before you start.
Okay.
And measure yourself up to the ability that you can manage, right? And I usually have this conversation a lot. That is doable. You can do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If you look at a toothpick, you just need to sit down and do the modeling of it. This one toothpick, what does it cost? How much do I need for a whole set of toothpicks to be on my table? What do I need to do? You start from there.
Okay.
You look at ile scotch, the thing for washing dishes.
Yes.
How much is it? If it's less than 5 shillings, then, and you're able to do the math and it makes sense to you, then you start from there. You start with one machine. When you get more money, you reinject it back as capital expenditure. You buy another machine, you buy another. By the time you know it, 5 years down the line, you'll have gotten so many machines at work.
So you're am I right in saying you're a glass half full kind of person? You're not, you're in the opportunity.
Yes.
And despite the challenges, they are not stopping you from doing what you need to do.
Actually, that is the mentality that you need to have. Yeah.
Okay.
You move as the opportunity presents itself. And as you go, there will be somewhere you'll have failed. There will be somewhere you'll have won. But trust me, you cannot fail in everything.
Have you had some failures?
I have.
Okay. Can we speak about them?
Yes. Of course, after I set up the net business, the saying that goes, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket.
Yes.
I became a bit cautious in terms of just dealing with one business. And I tried to get into another.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was not right.
It was not.
It wasn't time. Yeah, I got that slash proper.
Okay.
So I learned that lesson that where I am right now, I've not set it up enough to be able to move to something else.
Okay.
So I took a pause on that.
Okay. And maybe now's a good time to talk about the future.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's you're now 2 years in, doing well, build a robust customer base. What are in the dream pipeline for Blue Osprey, and where do you see yourself going as a business?
I would say still on manufacturing. Now that I have been on this side of things, I have seen a great opportunity where Kenyans can play. And I would love to call as many people who maybe are at my age, or even if you're younger than I, or even older, and you're a Kenyan and you want to do something, if you can consider manufacturing. I still believe there's an opportunity in packaging. The market is evolving. And what we are using today as packaging material is not what will be used in the next 5 years. So that's where I am right now, still doing R&D, trying to figure out what's the next era looking like, and how we can start investing capital-wise and knowledge-wise as well, and also training our staff to be able to grow into this new sphere. So that's where my family and I are currently sitting at.
Okay.
But
do you
still
have growth ambitions?
Yes.
Yeah.
We intend to grow.
Okay.
We intend to grow. There are markets who they don't even know what nets are.
Yes.
They don't even know that that nets are actually better than nylon. They don't. They don't know that nets are more environment friendly as compared to nylon. And there's an opportunity for us to get into those markets. I'm looking at countries in West Africa. I see trucks heading that side. Machine trucks, not stock trucks which are carrying machines to go and set up plants in the sides of West Africa. I also see an opportunity in transport as well, because most of these goods that we have, even with our wholesalers, they would want to participate in other bigger markets.
Yes.
But one challenge that is there is the fact that transport is a problem.
Okay.
Right?
How so?
So because of there are people who cannot go to certain places, right? So if you want to transport goods to certain countries, it will be difficult for you to get to those countries because of transport.
Yes.
Because of road infrastructure, and also trucks which are able to get to those sites.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that I want to focus on.
Okay. So you mentioned briefly that you're supplying regionally in Kenya. So what has your experience been with the export opportunity? You said you have clients in DRC. Maybe we can spend some time and speak a bit about that. This East African community that we talk about on paper, what does it look like for you from the perspective of a manufacturer?
So as I mentioned to you, my customers are the wholesalers.
Yes.
The wholesalers are the ones who have customers in DRC.
Right.
Because
you're
they're
not
the ones who
supplying
tell
directly
you,
to...
No.
Okay,
No.
fair enough.
No.
Fair enough.
But they're the ones who they supply there. So what we want to do is to be able to support them to grow into those markets, right? Because as a manufacturer, you need to choose where your struggle is. Do you want to do manufacturing, or do you want to get into the nuances of accessing markets, right?
Distribution, which is more a distribution play.
Yes, but at the moment, because of the value we want to bring into the market, our focus mostly right now is on quality and our quantities, right?
Okay.
That we are bringing to the market something that is needed, something that is going to be considered. This is a good net for packing our goods. You know, the thing that makes us not, I would say, have sleepless nights is whether our net can carry, like a net which is in the market. If you are a manufacturer of nets and you sell to the market, you know there are certain standards, like a 20-inch net should be able to carry 3 kgs. As we want to focus on that 20-inch net being able to carry like 7 kgs, double that. Because at ule, the person at the end, who is the end user, the mama mboga, when they receive that net and their packaging, and someone comes and says, I want tomatoes, 30 bob, I want onions, I want this. They're looking at ways of cost effectiveness,
Yes.
right? And so if that one net can be able to carry many things, why not?
And you do that what? From
Yeah.
innovation perspective, R&D? You said you're doing some R&D in your business? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I mean, it's really refreshing to see and hear a story of that nature. One, because I think you have addressed very many subtle issues, but that are quite weighty points. You've talked about accessing capital. You've talked about leveraging family capital, which is, I think, another huge opportunity.
Yes.
You've talked about the foray into manufacturing. But what I also like is your story of, and I repeat again, your parents, because when you go into entrepreneurship, you just don't know what you don't know. You know, and to have someone who's a fellow entrepreneur who can tell you, oh, this way is, it'll be better if we go this way, or if we go this way, we'll get bad. Not stopping you from making the mistakes that need to be made in order to learn, but kind of offering some hand-holding mentorship guidance. And it's really good to hear that you have had that benefit from your mom. Yeah. So I remained in awe of that. So I think to wrap up, maybe you can speak to the audience and tell them where can we find Msafi Net if we want your product. Where can we find it, or which wholesalers, and anything else you think is relevant for the audience to understand about your business.
I think just before I let you know where you can find the product, I would like to encourage the young people who are the Gen Zs, the millennials, right? If you have any opportunity, and I'm not going to say any idea, but I will say any opportunity in terms of time, or you've been in the career world and you want to transition into business, the very first place, if you are blessed to have a family, is to start from there. I know sometimes people say that was my father's dream, right? I have my own dreams. But there's an opportunity to honor our parents by living their dreams first and taking advantage of that opportunity to build yourself and scale up while you're at it. So that by the time you're at the 50s, or you're at your late 40s, when now you start implementing your own dreams, you'll have garnered a lot of experience, and you'll have leveraged on the family to use the resources that are available and walk in humility to serve them first before you serve your own dreams. So there's an opportunity at that, right? Where you can find our products. I don't have a specific customer whom I can vouch, like I can say who you, but if you go into OTC, any wholesale shop, and say, I want Msafi Net, you will get it. Yes. So I have as many people who I
And what sizes?
supply to.
What sizes does it come? What's your product range?
The most popular size is the 20-inch size. So that's like a 50 centimeters kind of size. And we have different colors. We have red, orange, brown, purple, black, green, turquoise blue. We have so many based on what you want to use it for. Yeah.
Excellent. Wow. Juliet Ndanu Wambua, thank you very, very much for being a guest on the 40th episode. That's quite a milestone for us of the African Do Story. And what a story. So we wish you all the best. We wish Blue or Osprey all the best as you continue to grow and develop.
Thank you.
And we celebrate the fact that you're in manufacturing and invite other people who may be struggling in corporate or maybe feeling the need to have a greater impact or to do more for the economy of the country than just collect collect a salary to join you in this world.
Yes.
And we hope we can start some kind of entrepreneurship revolution and build wealth on this African continent for us. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That was episode 40 of the African Do podcast, featuring Juliet Ndanu Wambua of Blue Osprey Limited, who is manufacturing Msafi Net that are available all across the country. We thank you very much for joining us, and we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Dan of Semabox told us some worrying news about Spotify, so we're temporarily not uploading onto Spotify. But we'll continue on YouTube, and we look forward to you walking this journey with us as we tell stories of excellent Africans executing excellently and building wealth on the African continent. Thank you very much, and see you in the next episode.